Excited to be with you for another week to talk about the market. If you've got questions, you can call us with your questions anytime. Call us 990-9352 right here in the station. You can also call us at our toll-free number, which is 855-970-9352. Again, that's 855-970-WFLA. Anytime you have questions, we'd love the opportunity to point you in a direction, point you in the right direction, help answer your questions. If it's real estate related, we'd love the opportunity to talk to you, whether it's about buying a home, selling a home, foreclosures, short sales. If it is real estate related, we'd love the opportunity to answer your question or point you in the right direction. Have Robert Johnson from my real estate team on with us today. Robert Johnson is our lead listing agent, meets with a lot of our home sellers looking to sell homes, for our company. And we were going to kind of start off the show, Robert, today talking a little bit about, this is the time of year when a lot of homes start hitting the market. People start hitting the market. They start calling us. They say, hey, I'm ready to go and ready to put their home on the market. And I think, some of the benefits that have happened in the real estate market over the last year kind of work against people sometimes because they start to think that their home is worth more than what it is, right?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, you don't want to go in and tell a seller the prices still aren't going through the roof like they were last year. And we did see a lot of improvement last year, but
it's softened this year.
Absolutely, and you don't want to go in, pricing it super high because this is the key window this time of year. I mean, this is where you don't want to miss the spring market, as they like to call it.
Well, and I think what other people don't understand is the first 2 months of this year, we saw the first double, back-to-back months of year-over-year decrease in the median sale price in Tampa Bay. So prices haven't risen the last couple of months like they have been for the last 20 months. And, there were fewer transactions this January and fewer transactions this February than last year. So, the gains that we saw last year, we've lost a little bit of that. But also, you don't have as strong a demand. So much of last year's market was fueled by the hedge funds and the large corporate institutional investors that wanted to rent out homes. And they're more or less gone. So, so many homes were selling from that, and it made our market look so much better. And I was preaching it the whole time it was going on that was going to be the case, that hey, look, when these go away, it's gonna slow down the market a little bit. And I think people just get caught up in the moment. Maybe they don't pay attention, or maybe they listen to their neighbor more than they listen to the guy that sold thousands of homes. But yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, and inventories creep back up some. You talk to some people and they say, oh, well, 6 months ago my neighbor got this for his house, and 6 months ago so-and-so got that for their house. But now the inventory's back up a little bit. You don't want to come in at the top of the price range because you're most likely going to have to lower your price to somewhere in the median in order to sell.
Right, and again, I mean, you also read into someone selling, $700,000 or $800,000 home, and they say, hey, I saw an article in Forbes or on Money Magazine or whatever that home prices are up 10% in Tampa. So my home is up 10%, and they make that analogy, and it isn't that way. Real estate is so hyper-local and so specific that when you hear the median price is up 10%, that does not mean your $1 million home is up 10%. In fact, it's not up. So it means that most of the lower-priced homes are doing better, but it doesn't mean higher-priced homes are selling any better. It just means the median. So people make that assumption, and they say, oh, prices are up, so my home price should be up. And in reality, the higher you go, the less drastic gains you get when there's a gain in the median price.
Right, and $700,000 or $800,000 nationally is not as much money as it is here. And here,
right,
that's a lot of money. And as you go up, inventory gets more and more and more, and prices haven't gone up as much.
Well, yeah, and you look at the statistics from the Greater Tampa Association of Realtors. They release them every month, and it's always a telltale sign when you look every 100,000 above the median. Our median in Tampa Bay is about 200, so you go up to 300, you go up to 400, you go up to 500, all the way up to the millions. Every 100 you go up, the market gets softer. There's more inventory, and there's a greater percentage off of asking price that buyer expects when they make an offer, because they know that homes in that price range aren't flying off the shelf. And I think the thing that sometimes gets people, that I think frustrates us when we're working with a home seller is their inability to kind of look past the reality that if you overprice your home, you are going to get less money, because it's going to take longer to sell, so you're going to have those additional holding costs. And by the time a buyer shows up for it, let's say 4 or 5 months down the line, they're going to offer you lower, because they're going to think, why didn't this home sell sooner? So it's why it's so important to price the home aggressively from the beginning, because if you, and I really don't believe you can underprice a home. If you underprice it, that means it's going to look like such a bargain that you're going to get a flock of people to it that bid the price up. You're going to get a bidding war, which we get a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as time goes on and the spring market gets more and more towards summer, inventories start creeping up again, just naturally every year that happens. And, you know, you don't want to be somebody who's on the market in a few months waiting for your home to sell. This is really the time where inventory is still a little low for the spring market. You want to get in there, get sold before you're competing against 5 other houses on your street.
And you want to price it to move, and price it to move quickly. I mean, the longer you sit on the market, the less that you're going to get of your asking price. So the higher you price it, people think, oh, well, if I price it high, then, you know, I can't get more if I don't ask for more. And that's not really true. I mean, today, a lot of homes do have a bidding war happen, so that drives the price up. But also, if you price it too high, your home doesn't sell at all.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't sell at all. I mean, you just sit there for months and months and months and get frustrated. And unfortunately, more than half the listings in Tampa Bay over, you know, a period of time don't sell when listed with the initial realtor, because they either don't get the marketing part right, you know, or they price it too high and hope to negotiate, but they price it so high that every buyer that looks at it says, that's priced so high, I'm not even going to make an offer. Even though I like the house, I like it at so low, so much lower of a price, I don't even want to offend the seller with an offer.
Yeah, and you know, I think all agents have experienced, you know, then when you finally do lower the price, you end up having agents email you or call you and ask you, well, what's wrong with this house? Why has it been on the market so long? Why hasn't it sold? And then they're almost hesitant to show it at that point because they think something must be wrong with it.
And
right?
that's the truth. I mean, you know, it's a you know, price war and a beauty contest at the same time. You've got to look gorgeous, but looking gorgeous is also how many days on the market has the house been. The buyer looks at that, and their ego comes into play. If they see that the house has been on the market a really long time, they're like, oh man, if I buy this house, everyone, you know, the neighbors are going to know it's been on the market forever. And I mean, they start to question whether or not they should buy it because other people haven't bought it. And what you want to create is a price where the action happens quickly, where you can get, you know, where the seller can be leveraged in the negotiating position, where you can get, you know, close or if not better than your asking price, and it happens quickly, because, you know, anything other than that, and it completely works against you. And, you know, we naturally have a desire to get the price as high as we can. I mean, you know, in a commission environment, the higher the price, the better it is for us too. But in reality, you know, you also have to price it according to what else is on the market, what has sold, and what can it appraise for. And you have to balance all those things at the same time. And you've got experience on your side that says, hey, look, that, you know, this house isn't going to move for that number. So that, you know, the piece of advice to the listeners out there is, if you're working with a real estate agent that's got a great reputation, that does a lot of sales, and they're giving you advice about price, they know it better than you do. I mean, they do. They do it every day. I mean, you can have friends and family and neighbors that sold a few homes before, but if you're dealing with a realtor that sold thousands of homes, you should trust them. They know what they're talking about when it comes to price. And they're attempting to avoid you making a crucial mistake and pricing that home too high, and then it's sitting on the market, you getting upset that it hasn't sold, you know, you thinking the marketing isn't working, and all the while, the biggest obstacle was you started at too high of a price. And now you're chasing the market to get to the price it needs to be at. But by the time you get there, you know, you don't have time on your side. The buyer looks at it and says, oh, it's been on the market 6 months. The price doesn't look bad, but what's wrong with it? So now, even if they do make an offer, they're going to make a lower offer than if you'd have just got to that price 6 months ago.
Yeah, and you know, I don't want to, it's not something that I want to scare people and think the market's going bad again. It's not that the market's going down, it's that the market's stabilized now. It's not going up like it was last year.
And it's strategy, because what you have to think about is, you know, what matters more to you? What you put in the pocket, what you truly put in your pocket, okay, or the price you ask for the home, or the price you even get for the home. Because, you know, some people might say, oh, well, I got 610, but my realtor told me, you know, 9 months ago to list it at 600, okay? You really didn't win anything. You actually lost money. Because if you'd have done that 9 months ago and priced it at 6, like the realtor told you, and it would have sold, you had 9 months of mortgage payments, taxes, insurance for 10 grand. It ain't worth that. It's not worth going through 9 months and getting 10 grand more if you've got a payment and taxes and insurance and maintenance. So, you know, do the math on it. I mean, you have carrying costs, you have monthly expenses, you have a lot of things that go into the true net scenario. But it's strategy. It's do you want to sit on the market? The market is doing well, but you know, it's still the best homes, the best priced homes, the best conditioned homes are the ones that get the buyer's attention, that look great online, and the ones that sell. If you put a house out on the market and it's been out there a few months and it's being marketed online, you know, it's got nice pictures, a good description, and it doesn't sell, it's the price. I mean, it's the prices. I mean, we could repeat that all day long, but you know, sometimes the home seller doesn't kind of want to embrace that. They want to ask for more money, but the market at that point has told you, if it was worth more, you would have already had interest from people. Even if it was, even if there was gaps in the marketing, so for example, even if there was a photo that didn't look great, or, people look at all these websites. They go to Realtor.com, they go to Zillow, they go to Trulia. Consumers are more educated than they've ever been. They're going to go on and they're going to look at all these websites. They're going to find the home. If it's priced well, even if there are little gaps in the marketing, you're still going to get attention. If you're not getting attention at all, and it's marketed, that's the market's way of telling you. It's not the realtor. We don't determine the price. I mean, we give you an opinion. We have an opinion based on experience that's backed up by lots of home sales, but it's still the market. It's the market that tells us, is this worth X? So you can put it out there, and if you get interest in an offer, that's the market's way of saying, validating what you put. If you put it out there and it's not getting anything, that's the market's way of saying your price needs an adjustment. And that's, I think, we so often, we get contacted by people that say, I need to get X, or I'm not going to sell. I need X, I need Y. If you go into it with that mindset, usually you're going to fail. You have to go into it with, I need to sell my home, and if I get whatever I can get, whatever the market will bear, because whatever you need isn't relevant to what the market will bear. You can say, hey, I need X or I need Y, and if the market can't get that, then you wait. But if you need to sell, you have to let the market determine the number, and people have a hard understanding of that, because they think that realtors sometimes are out to get them, or they think the realtor's just attempting to tell them a low number, but in reality that realtor is going to spend thousands of dollars. I mean, we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars marketing listings. So when we take on a listing, we want it priced well, because we're going to spend a lot of money driving traffic to it. So if it's not priced well, that's a business loss for us. I mean, we would have invested so much time and energy into that property, and it doesn't sell, and it was only because we didn't get on the same page with the price. So again, you're listening to the Duncan Real Estate Show. If you are thinking about selling your home, price it right. Listen to your realtor. They know what they're doing, and if there's still a question about it, then get it appraised. I mean, that's kind of the, if you go into selling the home and you've got it appraised, and don't hire your buddy. I mean, hire a legitimate appraiser. Don't just hire somebody that will give you a number you want. I mean, get an unbiased, unfettered opinion. So we'll be back talking about the local real estate market. We've got some articles about flood insurance, military housing, as well as short sales after a quick break here on 970 WFLA.